Hello and welcome to düzdanışaq English. My name is Ismail Jalilov and I'm an Azerbaijani and American journalist living and broadcasting from Washington, D.C. I try to introduce myself because I understand I don't have a huge English-speaking audience. We mostly do broadcasts in Azerbaijani and we cover the political and social events happening in my country of birth, in Azerbaijan. But today's a very special occasion, actually. It all started with a tweet, as it usually happens. I'm going to try and show it to you on the screen right now. Please bear with me. I'm not technologically talented. This is a tweet that I saw online when I was describing the situation in Azerbaijan and talking about the coronavirus situation. So basically, there is this article that elicited a couple of responses. One of them is from our channel, yours truly. And then Michael McDonald, it's spelled here with Cyrillic, but it belongs to a person named Michael McDonald, replied describing his trials and tribulations trying to find face masks in Baku. And he says that he was he was forced but not manhandled to buy what's left in the pharmacies in Baku. And here's another tweet. Exactly the day before, aptek, which is a Azeri word for the pharmacy, were only selling them below the counter. We're talking about masks. On Friday, they had lots, and the police were strategically placed outside the, I won't name it, aptek. The aptek tried to insist on selling 5, stupid expat syndrome, when all I needed was 1. This transpired on the 4th of April. So basically, I guess I set the stage for you. We were discussing the lack of face masks in Azerbaijan amid coronavirus. People were responding by saying that they would walk to dozens of apteks, of pharmacies, and couldn't find any. And this gentleman replied to the tweet. So this is how our connection started. And Michael is online right now with us from Baku, capital of Azerbaijan. Hey, Michael, can you hear and see us?
Yeah, I can.
That's a good start. This is something I don't get to say very often, but Americans always say to me, "Oh, we love your accent." So this is something I don't get to say. So we love your accent. I mean, I love your accent. It's I don't think I've ever communicated with a person from Scotland before. So we're the same people divided by common language, as Churchill said, I believe. So we'll try to make it work. Michael. What did impact your life most of all? Was it coronavirus or was it falling oil prices? Since I understand you work in oil and gas industry, what did have the major impact on your life?
Well, thanks very much for that intro. So yeah, I suppose, I think a combination of both. I think that the coronavirus has had it's certainly had a big effect on the oil demand. The oil demand's obviously been in question for quite a few years now, and it's for people like myself who work in the industry for the past 5-6 years. It's been quite a test in time because the oil price was fairly robust back in 2014, and then it collapsed. And a lot of colleagues, I've been very lucky that I've managed to keep employed, but a lot of colleagues were out of work for quite a long time, and they were just waiting on the oil price to try and recover to get back to a level that could encourage and support some employment in some mega projects. So once it got to around about the $60 a barrel, that was looking pretty good. It looked like a lot of companies had cut their cloth accordingly, and then that way it managed to kind of stimulate that jobs market again, and long awaited. Obviously, coronavirus comes along and the oil price collapses immediately after it, down to below $30 a barrel. So it's been pretty tough, and as a result of the collapse in oil price, I'm now looking for a new job.
So, from what I understand, tell us about yourself a little bit, if you will. From what I understand, you're married to an Azeri national, so you are allowed to live and stay in Azerbaijan, even if you lose your job, as I believe there is a threat of you losing your job due to turmoil in the oil and gas industry. So, what is the plan? How long have you lived there? What is the plan? What are you thinking of doing in the, coming weeks or months or whatever?
Well, the first time I came to Baku was in February 2012, and I spent 6 solid years here, and it was 6 of the best years of my life. Absolutely fantastic. Had some really good times here, met some really good friends. It's a great country, it really is, and the best thing that happened to me was meeting my wife here. So. A fantastic story. I left Azerbaijan in March 2018, and just because of the work situation, I went and found a new job elsewhere, and I've actually been living in Switzerland. I came back to Baku for what was going to be quite a big project in January this year, and here I am now, just waiting on flights being put back on, and once the flights are back on into the country to get me out the country, I'll be leaving, unfortunately.
Well, so you came to Baku in January of this year, just to make sure, right before the coronavirus-related restrictions started being imposed all over the world. The United Kingdom and Azerbaijan, I believe both nations imposed travel restrictions. So is it fair to describe you as stuck in Baku?
Yeah, I'm stuck in Baku. I think everyone's stuck in Baku. I'll be quite honest. I'm quite happy to be stuck here.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know there's anywhere in the world that is not suffering from coronavirus. And yeah, I'm comfortable here. We're got nice accommodation. My wife's by my side, so hey, what's not to like?
Exactly. You know that you're probably right. I mean, there is no place on earth that is safe from the coronavirus, which is probably the first time in our lifetimes that we're seeing something like this. So since you're stuck in Baku, we know that these are very strange and interesting times we live in, and we know that people in the future will be looking back to these times, and we're trying to provide a little snapshot of life in a place that is not very much covered by the global media in Azerbaijan. So I am from there, but I'm living here. I can tell you about what's going on here in America, but I really don't know what's going on in my country of birth. So we're relying on you. If you will, what is the life like? What is your day like? What do you do now?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, just like everyone else here at the moment, we're pretty much, we're locked down, except for it's obviously essential workers. Like everywhere else, essential workers are allowed to go about their business. But yeah, I mean, everyone's locked down. The streets are very, very quiet. There's hardly any traffic in the streets. We've been introduced to an SMS system just last weekend, where you text a number and you state, there's a couple of reasons why you may go out. One of them is obviously to get to the shops, get to the aptex, and obviously if you need any medical treatment, etc. The other one is, if there's the requirement to attend maybe in the unfortunate circumstance of family funeral. But really, we're just going out every other day. Maybe went out today for a while. Went to the supermarket, went to the aptech, and did what we needed to do and get back home. The SMS system works quite well. You text the number, you state your reason why you're going out. 10 seconds later, you get a text saying, "Hey, go out. You're allowed to go out for this period of time."
So,
and it worked quite well.
We've heard quite a bit about this SMS system by which you send a text message to alert the police that you will be leaving your home, your residence, for whatever reason. Do you have to wait for a response allowing you or disallowing you to leave your home, or can you just send a text message and go wherever you please or wherever you stated you're going to go?
So the experience I've had, I've only used it a couple of times since it came in, because we are trying to limit the amount of times that we go outside, because we're trying to act responsibly and take some responsibility, and try not to go out and A, we don't want to catch it, and B, if we've got it, we don't want to infect anyone else. So yeah, we use the text system. We send a text within 10 seconds maximum. We've got a text back. The two occasions we've used it, text back saying "good to go," on you go. You get 2 hours.
Do you feel like it's an automated message, or do you feel like people look at some things before allowing you to go?
There's an element of automation about it, because it's a fairly standard text message you get back. I'm guessing that I wouldn't imagine that there's a bunch of people manning a system and looking to determine. I'm sure there's some kind of computer in the background working away. They're checking your so obviously Azerbaijani nationals have a national ID. Expats also have the same, but it's a more temporary format. But we've all got our ID numbers. You enter your ID number. It comes back saying your ID number's checked out. It's good to go. Mm-hmm. Go about your business.
So I'm trying to understand how it works. Once you're outside, if the police approach you, first of all, did they ever approach you? And if they do you show them that the text message was sent and you were allowed to leave? Or is that for the police to check? Or how does it normally work out?
So first question, no, we haven't been stopped by the police yet. There is the police, would I say there's been a change in the police presence? Maybe not, because there's always a fairly sizable police presence on the streets of Baku anyway. So I can't say I've noticed there's an increased police presence. Certainly today, what I did notice, there was more like roadblocks, and they were checking the cars, and they were making sure they appeared to be making sure that the people in the cars had the relevant permission to be out. But as a pedestrian, we walked past, no problem. Police, they kind of acknowledged us, but they never stopped to check us out. What I have noticed as well, sorry, you may be going to ask this question, but I've seen, what I've witnessed is certainly the police seem to have been encouraged to take quite a kind of friendly approach. When they meet someone, they're saluting them, they're introducing themselves, etc. So I guess that's probably, call it a charm offence if I don't know, but it's not discouraging, put it that way.
Okay. Well, I believe I may say that your presence betrays that you're a foreigner, or at least you were not born in Azerbaijan, or let's say not native. Do you think the police treat you the same way they treat people who would look like me, who would look like they were born and raised in Azerbaijan? Do you think the foreigner factor has anything to do with the way the police approach you and engage in this, as you call the charm offensive?
Yes. So I jokingly, so you picked up on my Twitter, I call it, I think I called it expat syndrome or something like that, but I always joke about this, that this, and it's not just here, by the way, it's not just Azerbaijan, as a Westerner. I've worked in a few places around the world, and yeah, I mean, you do get treated differently. You are seen as different. It's almost like, and it makes me feel a little uncomfortable sometimes, like people kind of look up to you as a kind of expectation. And I don't necessarily know that's fair. I don't think we deserve that at all. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's a communication barrier here, because, any police I've engaged with, and it's not been many in my time here, none of them speak English. So you're reliant on, and I can assure you, my English is not that great. You can probably tell. But I mean,
how is your Azerbaijani or Russian or whatever language you use to communicate with people there?
Azerbaijani is quite poor, actually. I'm ashamed to say. I'm really, really ashamed to say that. My Russian, I can just about get by. I understand more than I can speak, put it that way. But, all right. But yeah, look, so there's obviously a communication barrier between myself and the police. Not just the police, but, in general life. So, if the police are trying to engage with you, they're relying on maybe gestures and the hope that you can really understand them. And they will speak Azerbaijani to you, and you kind of go, I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're saying. Mm-hmm. But
have you ever encountered the police who speak English to you, or? try to...
No.
No, you have not. I'll tell you an interesting thing about myself. When I come to Azerbaijan, I also experience what you called stupid expat syndrome. I love that expression. I'm very curious to hear more about it, to be honest. Here you're alluding to the fact that the aptek, the pharmacy, was trying to sell you 5 masks when all you needed was 1 because the police escorted you. Do you think these masks magically appeared there because you were brought in with not by the police, but you walked in with the police? Do you think that if I were to enter the same aptek without the police presence, would they sell the masks to me? And do you think they sold them to you because you're a foreigner? Or did that have anything to do with anything? The day when nobody could find any masks?
No, I don't think. It wasn't just me. There was other people. I could see the police were inviting other people to go and buy a mask as well. So it wasn't just me they picked on. But yeah, look, the day before there was no masks to be had in any apteks. Now, I'll be honest. I'm not a pro mask wearer. I think I'm far too handsome to hide my face behind a mask.
Touche.
But yeah, but or so my mother would say anyway.
I'm sure your wife would agree.
Yeah, I hope so. So I'm not convinced by the mask argument anyway. So I didn't seek to wear one. So, but I do know that my wife she tried to buy some masks the day before, and we went through a couple of apteks and nobody had any. And then on the morning that this event happened, I was walking by and there was one policeman, 4 soldiers, and it was, "Where's your mask?" type thing. You know, the hand gestures and the common word mask.
So you said you saw other people brought in, or other people inside the aptek. Do you think they were treated the same way by the police? I'm sorry I'm asking this question. I'm just very curious as to.
That's okay. I think they probably were.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, yeah, I don't think I was being unfairly treated. If I'm being honest, it's not criticism. I mean, but the thing for me was, what was confusing for me was, it's not mandatory to wear a mask. Mm-hmm. The mask is down to choice. However, at the time, just over a week ago, it's a changing situation as everywhere else. And do we need to wear a mask? Do we not need to wear a mask? So I was working on the premise that you need to wear a mask, mandatory, has come in, and you're now having to buy a mask. So go and buy a mask. Why are you out in the streets without one? Mm-hmm. It turns out it's not mandatory.
Well, I'm responding to a question from our viewer who says, in any case, as a nation, we always respect foreigners more than natives. I don't know if this person means it sarcastically or this is an honest and good faith observation, so to speak. Do you think that as a people, Azerbaijanis always treat foreigners with more respect? Because here you're writing about stupid expat syndrome. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep going back to this. I experienced it too. When I go to Azerbaijan, for some reason, quite often people, salespersons or service industry people, they speak English to me, and that infuriates me because I'm a native Azerbaijani. Both of my parents are from Azerbaijan, so why am I being spoken to in English, right? In the country of my birth. So do people try to take advantage of foreigners, do you think, or do they treat them nicely, more nicely than anyone else?
It just really, really depends. I mean, for instance, it's the same as anywhere else in the world. You're an expat, you turn up, you don't speak the language, you get in a taxi, you know that taxi fare is double or 3 times.
Or going to take you on a tour.
Yeah, exactly. That happens. And then on the other hand, some people will really go out their way in order to demonstrate to you that they're very welcoming and very friendly, and they'll come and introduce themselves, say hello, and try to engage, even if their English isn't that good. Well, you get people that are, and you can see they're very genuine. As an expat in Baku, I mean, it's a bit different for me because I'm now married into it. But as when I first came to Azerbaijan, and I've heard this from quite a lot of expats, is that they feel that Azerbaijanis can be a little hostile towards them. that's as soon as you get to know an Azerbaijani, they're the most hospitable people in the world. They would give you their last penny and their last piece of bread. And I think it's just a cultural thing. It's this, you know, I think there's an old Russian kind of proverby type thing where it says, you know, only an idiot smiles type thing. So people tend to walk around with kind of looking a bit solemn, a bit somber. And expats tend to kind of be a bit smiley and a bit friendly. And maybe that's something, maybe that throws people off. I don't really know. But I mean, look, it's like everywhere else. You know, you can get people who are, yeah, I mean, they can try and take advantage of you. Of course they will. And then you got other people who would, you know, as I say, give you your last piece of bread. So yeah, it's an absolute mixed bag.
Going back to daily life, if we can, did it change how people, I don't know, live their lives from your observations? Do people eat out less? I understand that cafes and restaurants only deliver and work for takeout, right? Do people order food? Does it change the way the economy is working? I mean, in your daily interactions, maybe there is a store you've been going to every day, or a corner supermarket, or maybe a restaurant you used to frequent. Did it change the way the people are employed? Did it change the way people are making money? Do people appear more grim? I know you don't encounter a lot of people, you said, less people on the streets, obviously. But how does it change if you go back in your memory to, I don't know, 4 weeks ago, 1 month ago, 2 months ago? How did it all change?
I mean, well, you know, a few weeks ago, life was normal. I think people were aware, okay, 4 weeks ago, people were more or less aware of the impending nature of the change and what was coming around. But yeah, look, things were pretty normal. The cafes, the restaurants were still buzzing, still plenty of people in them, just normal life. And yeah, now that gradually changed because they introduced, certain hours that they could work. So it was like they reduced that down to 12 to 3 in the afternoon. And, you know, I did go to a couple of cafes between 12 and 3, and they were just as busy as normal, even although people were being encouraged not to use them. So, I mean, the culture, I mean, for me, Azerbaijan's quite a very, very sociable a kind of culture about it. So people always meet. Used to be in tea houses years ago, but coffee shops seem to have taken over. But coffee shops, restaurants, everyone's always going out and meeting. Any night of the week, you can find people in coffee shops or cafes and restaurants and things like that. Whereas opposed to, you know, say, for instance, the United Kingdom, where, you know, you go out on a Tuesday night, the place is going to be empty. So, I mean, I think that's probably had quite an effect in how people have went about their daily lives, because it's curtailed that social interaction. And yeah, I mean, the delivery systems here in terms of, you know, delivering, you know, from your favourite restaurant, for example, they're working well. They've got quite good delivery systems here. There's plenty of guys delivering stuff. It's working okay. But yeah, I can imagine it's curtailed people's, well, it certainly has curtailed people's social interactions.
Are you concerned having your food delivered? Are you concerned that you might get infected that way? I mean, do people feel this concern in general, do you think?
Well, I think that apprehension's probably there. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have still ordered a couple of times. We ordered last night, for example.
What did you order? From what kind of restaurant? I'm curious.
Ordered Chinese.
Okay.
Ordered Chinese from the best Chinese restaurant in town. Not just in town, but probably the best Chinese restaurant anywhere. So.
Half my kingdom for Chinese food right now, because we haven't ordered anything in a while, I don't think. I'm just curious, do you know anyone in your family in Azerbaijan, or anyone in your family back in the United Kingdom or anywhere, who has been infected with coronavirus? I mean, do you know anybody who's been sick, feeling sick, or hospitalized? I'm just curious as to see what do you think about that?
No, I haven't. Not here or not back home. No,
Mm-hmm.
no. I mean, look, everyone I know, you know, whether they're in the United Kingdom or whether they're in Azerbaijan, both sides of my family, everyone's taken, you know, the advice that they're being given. It's I mean, look, it's changing every day. Not just it's changing globally every day. Some of the advice you get: wear a mask, don't wear a mask. You can go out, don't go out. So, but I think people are just applying common sense, and just it's more of an. I guess in Baku, I would comment, and rather sarcastically in a joking manner, but I never ever thought social distancing could ever work in Baku.
I know what you mean.
People don't know how to queue. But do you know what? People are actually, you go to the supermarket now, people are actually being more mindful about it. So it's obviously the message is getting there, I think, yeah.
A queue or a line, as we call it in America, is never a straight line in Baku, is it? People sort of congregate and take a mental note of who came before whom. That's sort of like a geometric, geospatial imaging. I don't even know how to describe that. But do you feel that it has changed amid coronavirus? Do you think that sort of taught people to keep distance between each other, or no?
I certainly think people are more mindful now, for sure, yeah. I mean, look, there's the supermarkets, many supermarkets I've been to, they've got plenty of warnings up in there, trying to give you this 2-meter diagram, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And they've put measures in place at the how do you say casa in America,
mm-hmm.
checkout. But you put these plastic screens up and things like that as well, and so and they've hand sanitizer around about the stores and things like that. So, and look, people seem to be they seem to be sticking to the guidance and the rules on it.
My friends in Azerbaijan tried to send me hand sanitizer to the United States because for some inexplicable reason we're experiencing shortages with them. For 3 or 4 weeks we cannot find any in retail. And I understand that hand sanitizers or any other goods are not an issue in Azerbaijan right now. You can go out and buy what you need.
No problem at all. The supermarkets, supermarket close to me, it's a chain. It's part of a chain, so they're very well stocked up. And when I was looking a couple of weeks ago and speaking to family back in the UK, and all the news coming from there is about panic buying and empty shelves. And I go to the supermarket just down the road a little bit, and it's full, and everything's fresh, and so. We've been very lucky. There's been no panic buying. People have acted responsibly. And I think that's maybe down to the behaviours, the cultural aspect as well, because I think, and certainly in UK culture, people rush out to the shop every weekend, buy whatever they need for the full week. So they tend to buy too much, whereas I find here people buy more on a daily basis, and maybe that seems to have worked quite well here.
Do you think it has anything to do with the purchasing power of people? Because not very many families in Azerbaijan, I'm not saying it's total and abject poverty, but not very many families in Azerbaijan can afford to go and panic shop, quote unquote, like we do in the United States or in the Western world. I mean, people don't buy things for 4 or 5 weeks to come. Do you think that has anything to do with that?
I think that's that sounds fair. That's probably a reasonable view. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, right. I'm just trying to figure it out. People are saying that you're not supposed to congregate in the streets. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. Do you think that is working from your own perspective? I understand you're not a medical professional, neither am I. We're just two human beings chatting. Do you think social distancing is working?
Well, look, it can't do any harm. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, what can you do to help this situation? This is, as you said, it's unprecedented. It's nothing we've seen in our lifetime before. Me personally, I think it's only a matter of time before it passes through every nation and passes through us all in some form or another. I mean, I may even have had it, and it's passed me by. Some people will maybe be affected more by it, and I think that all that countries can do, and it's my understanding, as again, I'm not a medical person, but countries can do it, is to try and manage the throughput of people in the medical system so that it's not overwhelmed, and I think that's all they're doing. So if social distancing helps to manage that, then fine.
As a person who's lived in Azerbaijan for 6 years on your previous tour, have you ever been to a hospital? Have you ever been to a medical facility in Azerbaijan? And your personal view, your personal opinion, do you wonder or are you concerned that you would have to go to a local hospital if you feel sick, or if God forbid, your family feels sick, that you have to take them there? Do you have any concerns regarding the Azerbaijani medical care system?
No, I don't. No. And yeah, I have been to hospital here. I broke my leg.
Wow.
And a few years ago. And
too much scuba diving or skydiving, or
too much walking along the pavements.
There you go. That would do it to you.
You look, I had the care I had and the attention I had was fine. I had no complaints about it whatsoever. And I've been back since a couple of years ago, and again, no problems at all. Good care, good attention. And yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I have been to a medical facility that was a bit overwhelmed. And it needed some care and attention, etc. But the doctor I interacted with there, very professional, perfect English, good, nice guy, very, very. As far as I was concerned, I felt very comfortable with what he was telling me. But yeah, I mean, if you looked around, if you wanted to pick some areas, yeah, you could say, well, it was a bit overwhelmed. It felt a bit uncoordinated, I suppose, at times.
Do you have a lot of friends in the expat community? I'm sure you do, but I'm trying to gauge what they feel like. Do they panic? What your friends tell you on day-to-day basis? Since your English and since your Azeri and Russian are limited, you're probably speaking to English-speaking people. What countries are these people from in general? I'm not asking to name names. But what do they feel? What do they say? What is the mood like?
So, I mean, the people that recently, the people I've been, if you like, working with, there's not been a lot of socialising, obviously, but since the people that I've met since coming back here in January, they're all fairly new in the country. They've never actually been in Azerbaijan before, so probably the longest anyone's been here has maybe been about a year. Mm-hmm. So generally, people have had, came to Baku within the past few months, past 6 months, say, and so they're not necessarily up to speed in things. So they're still quite apprehensive. There's still some talk about someone did raise the point. I wouldn't want to become unwell here, mm-hmm. And I say, well, why would you think that? Because I have been, unfortunately or fortunately, been to the hospital here, and it's been absolutely fine. There's no sweat about it.
But they don't have the same support system as you do, probably. You have a wife who is Azerbaijani, and you have a extended family of hers that you can rely on. But these people don't have families. They probably have a limited number of people they know in Azerbaijan, and depending on their language skills, they probably don't know anybody who doesn't speak English.
So I actually think that, and look, I mean, previously when I was here, some people had the same concerns, etc. And it's only because they'd never actually had to use the systems. It's only a fear of using the systems that's causing that apprehension and these concerns. So you're absolutely right. And what I would say, though, is that the companies that bring expats here need to take more responsibility as well, because in my experience, certainly I've seen the lack of support sometimes. So you as part of your mobilisation, you have to go and you get blood tests, etc. So nobody in these clinics really speak English. So you go to the main clinic here to get your blood test, etc. And the clinic's spot on. It's a lovely clinic. It's all brand new. I can't complain about that at all. But when you go there, you've no instructions, so you go there and you're just trying to find your way around, and you eventually do. I mean, look, we all do. But I actually think that it's down to the companies that bring expats here to make sure they've got the right support. And if you get that right support, then it wouldn't sow the seed of, what do? I had a bad experience. Nobody could speak English. I'm unsure. I don't like it. if the companies actually paid more attention when they bring people into a foreign country, not just Azerbaijan, but any country where there is language difficulties, accompany them, give them that support, and put them at ease.
I guess I'm kind of curious as to why so many people did not choose to evacuate or at least leave voluntarily on their own when they realized that coronavirus is going to be a sort of an ordeal that would last a few months.
Well, I actually thought about leaving, and it just coincided with the Novruz holiday. Just as everything started to get, as everything started to just kind of manifest itself into this kind of lockdown phase. It was really unfortunate because obviously, as you know yourself, that's a really important holiday period here. But nothing to do with the country, but we were advised by our employer not to travel. In fact, it was quite strict, don't travel. Otherwise, people would have jumped in a plane and went home, came back, or tried to come back. I think the fear was, as this progresses, then people would be blocked from coming back into the country, or maybe be put into quarantine on arrival back into country,
right.
And then that could disrupt the work situation.
All right, I'm going to read a question from our viewer, if you don't mind. Mehmet Hajazizov, he's asking in Azerbaijani. He's asking whether the system of leaving your home by sending an SMS in advance to the government, do you see that? What do you think of it? Do you see it as abridging your rights? I would ask you this. Do you think that this is sort of a violation of your rights? Do you think that this is a common sense restriction? What do you think of that?
No, I don't. It's not as if only applies to certain people. It's applying to everyone. So no, I don't, and I think that there's other countries have taken similar measures and are actually even more strict. Although I don't know that. That's only from what I understand in the news. Mm-hmm. For me, I think that any country's got a responsibility to try and manage this situation. And look, you know what? You're not always going to be able to rely on the people to act responsibly. Yeah,
that's true.
And that's anywhere. So sometimes you're going to have some kind of interference to say, look, you really need to do this, yeah, to help us manage the situation. So I don't think it's...
All right.
Yeah, I do, but not in this situation. No, it's an extraordinary event.
Okay. So Maestro, another viewer and moderator on the channel, is asking, have you ever tried to learn at least conversational Azeri? What language do you speak with your family in Azerbaijan? Is it Russian? Is it Azerbaijani? And have you ever tried to learn conversational Azerbaijani?
I tried to learn. I did try to learn Azerbaijani when I arrived in Azerbaijan 8 years ago, but I found it quite discouraging because people's reaction to you trying to engage. So if I'll just do someone new. So salam nejises. Yeah.
I'm sure it's appreciated by people when they hear it.
So say that they start laughing, so you end up, you're discouraged, and people you kind of feel, well, what's the big deal? I'm really trying to communicate with you. I'm trying to make the effort, but people would kind of pick a bit of fun and things like that. And look, it's fine. So it's discouraging.
Do you think you'll have your job back? Do you think a lot of people that will have their jobs back when this coronavirus pandemic sort of burns itself out, so to speak?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't think so. I think that look, I think there's going to be some sort of normality, but I think that look, this has had quite a big effect. Governments have had to borrow their way out of this in order to try and sustain the program, the policies, the government, etc. So things aren't going to be as normal. They'll try and get the systems can't. I don't see the systems failing, but I see some people suffering because of the effects of this. So I don't think it's going to go back to normal. maybe not in my lifetime anyway.
What do people in your family back in Scotland say? Do they ask you how you're doing? Are they worried for you? Are they wondering why you're stuck in a country like Azerbaijan amid this whole thing? Have you ever heard any concerns like that from them?
No, not really. Obviously, they're asking after my well-being and you know, saying how's things going. Are you keeping okay? Well enough, you see, and they actually sound they've got more to worry them than than I do here, with shortages in the food and you know I think there's some overzealous policing going on in the UK just now as well, which is from what I understand is causing a bit of concern for some people. So, for instance, my mother, she hasn't even been out her house for 3 weeks. And she's very fit and very able to do so. But she's not forced to stay at home. She can leave, but she's just acting responsibly and, you know, making sure that she's taking care of herself and, you know, giving herself a best chance.
I was meaning to ask you about the well-being of your family back there, how they're weathering the storm. Because we also hear things about the UK, we hear things about Spain and Italy. It's the same sort of picture with I don't know, the scenarios might be different and the numbers of the people afflicted might be different, but the processes are the same there, here, in Azerbaijan, everywhere. Are you concerned for them? Are you worried that that something might start happening in the United Kingdom that we've seen to the scale of New York City or other European nations like Spain and Italy?
Well, I think it's happening. I think it's underway, and I think it's bound to happen. And you know, and this idea, this concept of testing people. If you test somebody today, they're okay tomorrow. You'd need to test them every day. So I don't necessarily know that testing is the right thing to do. Maybe it is. I don't know, but. Yeah, I think the UK is in a bit of a sticky situation. I see that the death rate's something like 10,000. Again, I start to think about, is that 10,000 people that have died from coronavirus, or is that 10,000 people that have had underlying health conditions that were bound to die anyway, but coronavirus has accelerated it? And I don't necessarily know that how the stats are being interpreted. I've never really looked into it, if I'm being honest. But for me, it seems, yeah, I mean, it's obviously a big number in any case. And I'm not trying to make light of the situation, but it depends how you present the stats, I suppose. That's what I'm trying to say.
You know, if social media is any indicator, which I understand that it might not be in some cases, in most cases. But people on social media that I interact with on a daily basis, people in Azerbaijan, they express doubts about coronavirus in general. There are all kinds of conspiracy theories flying around, and people express doubts in terms of the number of people dying from coronavirus, just like you said, whether it was the underlying condition and people were bound to die anyway, and coronavirus only sped up the processes or exacerbated it. Why do you think so many people in Azerbaijan, if you talk to these people, are skeptical about coronavirus? Do you think it's the influence of the media they choose to watch? Do you think it's coming from, it's a nascent sort of thing? Do you think it's coming from Russia or Iran, or any thoughts on that?
No, I can't say I have. No, I mean, I don't watch the news here because I don't understand it.
Right, that's fair.
But you know, I'm seeing what I can understand is there's a lot of you know, like public information being shown on the TVs, etc. And if there's any big screens, you know, these big screens you have out in the streets these days, you know, this is all tend to show these public information. You know, wash your hands, keep your distance, don't go out unless necessary. I'm guessing that's what it's saying. If people aren't adhering to that, I don't know. I guess maybe in a way, maybe there's some, you know, there's still what we would call the old wives' tales. We'd call that in the UK, old wives' tales. You know, yeah, if you and I hear this a lot in Azerbaijan, don't put the air conditioning on because you'll get a cold.
Right, or don't wash your hair, or don't shower and leave the house because you'll get meningitis. This one I could never figure out. So I'm pretty sure you hear that too.
Superstition, that kind of thing. So I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of that. I don't know. I really don't know.
Right. We don't get to interact with a lot of expats. Azerbaijani people are maybe starved for this kind of interaction. So every time we see a foreigner in Baku or in Azerbaijan elsewhere, we ask, so how's our food? Do you like our country? Etc., etc. So we get a lot of these questions. So let me present to you an amalgam of these questions. From Bahruz Hajiev. Mike, what do you know about history of Azerbaijan? Have you been outside of Baku, and what is your impression? So this is your cue to talk about our carpets or caviar, if you ever tried it, or hospitability. But that's not what I'm trying to get at. I really want your opinion as someone who has an Azerbaijani family also. What is it? Have you traveled outside of Baku? What is it that you think of the country? And please be honest.
Azerbaijan is. I sometimes think they don't necessarily do themselves a great service. I think Azerbaijan as a country, they're too reserved, and I think that Azerbaijan as a country really need to talk themselves up a little bit more, and get themselves a lot more media savvy, and get themselves known to the world. I know that we have the Grand Prix here, and there's been Eurovision, etc. And it was meant to be some of the Euro football games played here and things like that. And that's a good thing. These are all good things because it helps get the name Azerbaijan known throughout the world and where it is. Because what I find is sometimes when we're somewhere, and people obviously understand my wife's not British, and they'll say, "Where are you from?" She'll say Azerbaijan. They'll go, "Where's that?" And that's more ignorance on the part of the people asking it than anything else. But I'd like to see it advertised more. But to answer the question, have I been outside Baku? Yes, I have. I've been to some of the regions. The countryside and the scenery is beautiful. I lived in Switzerland, and I can say that the Caucasus are equally as impressive as the Alps. And any expat, I always encourage them, if you haven't been outside of Baku, is hire yourself a car for the weekend and get yourself to Guba or Gabala or Sheki, or get yourself out there and see it, because it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country. And you look, you see, there's Azerbaijan. It's like other places in the Caucasus. It's little microcosms of a culture. So what you see in Baku isn't necessarily what you see when you go to Guba or Gabala or Sheki or somewhere like that. You see, what could essentially be another country. So yeah, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The roads now out of Baku. When the first time I travelled years ago, they were working on them. They've improved them. Now they're fantastic. There's great roads out of Baku. You can get yourself into the regions and see some of the, if you like, the more the basic culture, the basic aspects of the culture.
Well, Mike, thank you very much for your time today. I personally learned quite a lot from you because I myself cannot be physically present there. I wish you and your family health, and I hope you're safe, and I hope this continues, and I hope we weather the storm together. It was quite enlightening. I hope to get to talk to you again.
Sure, yeah, anytime. Just ping me a note.
All right, and you keep tweeting. Thank you very much for your time again.
Cheers, nice to speak to you.
See you later. Hanımlar, canablar, excuse me, well, I forgot that I'm not speaking Azeri today. Thank you very much for your time. This was my attempt to bring in a snapshot of what's going on in Azerbaijan through the eyes of an expat living there. As I said, since I have not been physically present in the country in the last 3 years, sometimes it's hard to grasp and gauge the situation, but I truly hope that it was interesting. For me, it really was. Good luck to you, and stay safe wherever you are, and no matter where you're watching from, we wish you a good afternoon or good evening, depending on your location, and I hope you come back to us the next time we are speaking English here again. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.